Slurp-dee-derp, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to your sound design coffee break. This one is just a little 5-minute number, and all I'm going to do is show you how I make noise sweeps in Phase Plant. I think I've done these kind of noises before in Vital, but I don't think I've done a specific Phase Plant noise sweep yet. Anyway, I might have done. I've done a lot of videos. But definitely can't remember it. So here is what it sounds like, and it's just super basic, but has a little bit of a movement to it as well. It sounds like this. Obviously, if you're listening on your phone, that might have been very, very quiet, but the noise sweep is at that sort of level in your track. Usually it's something you have in the background, so it doesn't make sense to have it super, super loud. But if you just pay attention carefully, maybe I can turn it up a little bit for you here. Just a little up and down sweep with a nice bit of movement. And what you can actually do is once you've created the sounds, you can reuse it. And I've made a few of these across various synths, and they're just sort of in my sample library, and then I just sort of name them and use them. And so because it's got a little bit of a shake that happens. And then what you can do is you can, for example, throughout your track, use different parts of it. So I can just have like a, you know, make sure you fade the files if they're clicking and stuff like that, you know, but you can have a little impact splash. If you want like less of that extreme kind of first part, you can, and more of a subtle splash, you can just, you know, shorten it like that. You have really subtle ones. I'll chop different parts of the noise and use them in different bits of the track. Maybe I'll want to have like a little part where it sort of rises up, but then I don't want the actual impact point afterwards, you know. So I can do stuff like that as well. Maybe put a little tail reverb on there as well. But yeah, that's it really. But how to make it, super simple. And there's just a few things I've done in the synth to make it more natural. All that we've got is a noise generator. Okay, and that just has the stereo turned up about 44%. The slope determines the brightness of it, how dark or bright it's going to be. So it's on the side where it's more bright than dark. Then I've got a high pass filter up to like almost 1.8K. And what I've done for these two parts is I've put a randomization on to the brightness. So kind of over here, you have the brightness on the slope, and also on the actual amount of high pass as well. So just a tiny bit of randomness in there gives it, you know, with the random generator here, turned up the smooth, put that on there on both of those settings. It gives it just a slight bit of variation through the sound as it progresses. But here's the main part. This is where we track the level to an LFO. Okay. So that's the first part of the sound. So just a pyramid shape, and then curved it down quite extremely on both sides. You can change what tempo you want, but obviously for this 4-bar thing, 32/8, which is obviously just 4 bars. It could, you know, it could be 4/1. That would make more sense, but you know, a little bit of global unison. Then I'll just throw that on to add a bit of stereo width. But that's the main up and down. But now I want to inject that kind of shaking movement that I like to put into my white noise sweeps. So to do that, I've set up another LFO with a fast pyramid rhythm, just a fast fluttering rhythm. And then this effect gets tracked to the level as well. So, you know, the first one is doing the main up and down movement, but this one, creating the flutter effect, is also still on the level. And that's fine to have two different ones on there. You're going to get, you're still going to get a good result. And for this one, what you'll notice is that then I've tracked this first LFO to the amount here. You can see the amount of this LFO is going to go up and down, and also the speed of it is going to go up and down. So it's going to flutter at a faster rate as it gets to the top of the first pyramid here, and also the effect is going to come on to be stronger when it gets to the top. So it goes, you know? So that gives you more of a sense of tension inside the white noise sweep. And you can do that to a subtle degree, to an intense degree. Either way, it just makes it more interesting. And yeah, the point is just to establish it, is that this kind of whole movement that you've put on the level of the first one is also controlling the amount of the flutter, so the flutter increases along with it, and also the speed of the flutter, so the flutter gets faster along with the main movement. Okay? So that's the whole sound really. You could stop right there, but of course I want to make it a little bit more natural, so I've put an Erie loading dock convolution, about 24%, a little dual delay, about 33% or so. Another reverb here, so let's just the idea is to soften and kind of refine the sound. Another reverb, so we've just got sort of 3 different kind of spatial effects already. A little bit of chorusing, and then also just sort of refiltering it with an EQ here, just to take out some of that mid-range that doesn't really need to be in the sound. And then again, another long reverb, this time a nuclear reactor, and then a tiny bit of flanging at the end just gives it like a little bit of a sort of pitch variation. Not too extreme at 100, but maybe 10% or so. And that just finishes off the noise sweep then. And that's basically it. Super, super easy and simple. Yet, it's cool to create your own because you can put your own kind of movement in it, you know? I've done this kind of thing where it gets to the top, it flutters, and it comes back down again, because that's just one easy way to add a movement in that I like. But there's many, many other ways you could do it. You could have, for example, the flutter kind of getting slower at the top. You could change the shape of the movement, so it's a bit more, it could be like have a longer kind of release, like a more of a body at the top kind of thing. That there's many ways you can do it to create kind of different movements within the white noise, but this is just like kind of the basic one that I tend to lean towards because I kind of like that effect. Yeah, I'll drop this as a free preset on my Patreon. If you want to download it, you can. Feel free to use it. And this kind of sound just fits in any genre of music, to be honest. I think even like some sort of live recorded acoustic pop songs and stuff like that, if you place this kind of noise sweep like in the background on an important impact like part of the track, like even if it's really, really low in the mix, you'll be able to like accentuate parts of the track through the background. And definitely in electronic music, you could use this effect at a higher velocity to add impact to parts of the song. But I tend to use this often, but like low in the mix, so it just adds to the feeling and the energy kind of flow of a track, but doesn't necessarily become like a lead element, but it's super useful to get in there to be able to control the background energy of what's going on. So always a useful tool in any single song that you're working on. That's the Easy Noise Sweep. Thank you for watching today. Much love, my G's. I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. Peace out.